Hello, hello, construction professionals. Welcome to the podcast where we flip the script on what it means to live, breathe, and lead construction today. In this podcast series, we unpack how great construction can really be when you lead with humanity, put people first, and drop the bullshit of the way it's always been done. Our world has changed, our conversations have changed, and it's time construction catches up. Hello, hello. What's going on, folks? Jonathan Cinelli here. People first, then construction. Today's important, because you're going to say, what are we talking about, Jonathan? You're talking about one simple change with Juice Plus. And Juice Plus, how does it tie into construction? Here's how it ties in. Holistically, when you show up as a better human being, because inside, all the things are firing correctly. And outside, you're creating the lifestyle you choose. That's the difference. Look, until we look after ourselves, how can we look after anybody else around us? I want to go to work every day, come home, and show up as the person I choose to show up as at home. Because those people at home matter the most. So today, guest John Shaw, who introduced me to Juice Plus almost 2 decades ago. And this product has literally changed my life, literally changed our children's lives. And it's about bridging the gap to the foods that we don't eat. And you can say, well, what did you see, Jonathan? It's the small micro things that you don't see that are a big difference. The immunity, the strengthened immune system, the whole food that we don't get from the grocery store anymore. We're talking today. John Shaw takes us through how great of an organization Juice Plus is. See, I don't just bring anybody onto the show. If they're not a fit for the things that we believe and the things that we communicate, then they're not a fit. And here, Juice Plus actually gives a damn about people, and they tell us about some of the give back things that we do, how they show up for children, how they actually wholeheartedly believe that when you help children become better at a young age, they turn into better human beings throughout. So today, John and I are going to talk about the product Juice Plus, what it is, how it's benefited John, how it's benefited me, how it's benefited many human beings, and in addition, it's also a business that you can become a part of. And if you choose to become a part of it, it can change your life as well. Listen, Juice Plus has been a pivotal thing. It's one of those things that alongside my multivitamin, Juice Plus is a thing that comes with us on vacation. It's a thing that we double up on when we're not well. And thank you to John for introducing it to me and now my family many, many years ago. Without any other delays, I'm going to pivot right into John. Thanks. All right. Today's super special. John, welcome to the show. This is exciting. You're here today. Our relationship goes back decades, and that's what's exciting, because today we're talking about one simple change, and we're talking about a simple change, and that can be from a nutritional well-being standpoint, which is something I wholeheartedly believe in, to a career path change, and to something even more magical and holistic. Today we're talking about the journey of Juice Plus, and our journey together goes back a while.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thanks for making time to be here. Thanks for making time to be
My
here.
pleasure. My pleasure. I'm excited. It's funny, we've known each other, like you said, a while, and it kind of, it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes, and it's great to see you again and reconnect, and I'm excited to do this and just kind of share with your people.
Yeah. So and to our audience out there, that I like what John said there. It's tremendously magical, John. You say we're people are in our lives in and out, and there's things that keep drawing us back together. And for me and for you, it's that Juice Plus has been a vehicle to connect. But the other thing is really that very humanistic approach. There's times where every once in a while time will pass and pick up the phone, or we when we were physically in the same logistical area, it was like, hey, let's get together for coffee and just reconnect on what's going on in your world. Now, Juice Plus has been that driving vehicle to say, okay, tell me more about it. And Juice Plus for me, decades on it, at least 15 years, and it has been an instrumental part of my life, my family life. Our children are on it regularly, and I don't know what life is like without Juice Plus. So thank you for bringing that into orbit. Thank you. I can tell you that I feel
Hey,
fantastic being.
yeah, no, it's, I mean, I would say thank you for to yourself for, thinking that highly of your health, right? I've been over 30 years now. And so people say, what's it like? And I say, I don't know. It's just kind of who I am. You know, half of my life I've been eating this stuff, and I can go back and think what it was like before, but that's a long time ago, right?
Well, so let's pivot to that. Tell the audience out there, like what is Juice Plus and why bother taking it? I mean, you're highly knowledgeable there. Tell us.
Well, Juice Plus is plant powders, concentrated live food, and it's a blend of 30 different plant powders. So it's that whole rainbow of colors. You may or may not have heard eat the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of those different pigments and colors do something different in our body. And it's far beyond anything we'll ever comprehend. I mean, 15, 20, 50, 100 years from now, they'll be discovering something in a carrot or a peach or a tomato. Um, the cool thing about Juice Plus, it's already in there. It's just concentrated live food. The company has growers that grow for the company all over North America, predominantly. And that produce is vine ripened. It's grown to the peak of nutritional value. It's kind of like, you want your baby to go full term,
Mm.
get all those nutrients and develop fully. It's the same thing with a piece of produce. The longer it's on the vine, the more nutritional density is developed within that piece of produce. So, um, you know, back when I was in Canada, where you are, in the summer it's great. We get all this fresh produce, but in the winter, if we didn't pick it ripe and freeze it for the winter, it's getting on a truck green and traveling who knows how many miles to get to us. So it's premature. It's picked premature. It ripens on the truck, so it's not nutrient dense. And then on top of that, a lot of the stuff's compromised with the soil and stuff. But so it's nutrient dense produce. It's picked, vine ripened, it's washed, and it's flash frozen within hours of being picked. And then when it's needed, it's put into a giant, it's more than a blender, but a kind of a blender crusher thing. And that whole produce goes in there and it's turned into a slurry kind of thing.
Mm.
And everything goes in, the seeds, the stems, the peels. Um, so nothing's getting thrown away other than the peach pits, I guess. And we've got this slurry, and then we have a patented process to remove the water um, at low temperatures. So if it was dehydrated, they use heat, and that would kill a lot of the stuff. It's done at low temperatures to help maintain the efficacy of those nutrients. And then the powders are mixed into 3 different blends, a fruit, a veggie, and a berry blend, and then they're put into special containers. And those capsules are airtight as well to prevent oxidation. And they're shipped out to the customers like you and I, and we eat them and we reap the benefits. And it's meant to bridge the gap in our diet, right?
Mm.
We're supposed to eat X number of fruits and veggies every day, depending which, if you're listening to the Heart and Stroke Foundation or the Cancer Society or the Diabetes, they're all telling us we need to eat more, but the studies show that people aren't doing it. So here's a simple alternative.
Well, look, and this is what's magical, right? I love it. It bridges the gap between the nutrients we actually eat and the nutrients we don't eat. And I can tell you, I share things that serve me well, and in intention that it serves the rest of the world well. 20 years ago, maybe I'll tell you, probably had a different variety of fruits and vegetables because I did. And as I sort of aged, and interesting, right? We age, and our body actually sort of goes through that oxidation where we actually need to amplify and boost up on the nutrients we take in. And yet, I can tell you from my life, it was like it's the opposite. I started eating less fruits, not necessarily less vegetables, but less variety of vegetables. Especially children came along, and they look at like mushrooms and peppers and rapini and the stuff and kale, stuff that I enjoy, that we don't consume it because I can tell you, Christian's 9 years old. His diet consists of meat, pasta, potatoes. The only vegetable he'll eat is broccoli. So how did we bridge that gap? Juice Plus, right?
Yeah.
Juice Plus.
Well, and the great thing, Jonathan, you mentioned the kids. Kids between the age of 4 and 25 get the product for free. And
Right.
how that works is so each customer can sponsor one child for free. As long as that initial customer's paying for their product, the child's continuing to get theirs, for up to 21 years, right? Someone 4 can go all the way to 25. And that's a great program. I love that program, our Healthy Starts program that helps families, you know, the affordability factor for families. And I'm sure you've seen in your kids that when they first started, they probably started to change a little bit of their habits. Now, they go to grandma's house or they go to a friend's house and they still get other options, but their
Of
cravings
course.
start to change like ours do.
Well, and this is what's beautiful is when you talk about the Healthy Starts program, folks. Let's bring that back to our audience. It's an organization. Juice Plus is an organization not only believes in bettering human beings, but we're actually saying let's start at a younger age and bring this, introduce it. Look at the impact we can have on children to grow and develop at probably one of the most pivotal points in life. I can tell you from experience, our children started with the gummies. And then and now we've pivoted to the capsules, which is cool because everybody can swallow them, and that's great. So we talk about Juice Plus. It's for human beings. Period. Right? Look, you want to amplify
100%.
you want to amplify your performance. You want to age better. You want to stay stronger. You want to have the nutrients. This is it.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
from your world, tell us some of the benefits that you've seen either for yourself or for those around you that have really just been amplified, and we can relate back that to Juice Plus.
For sure. And I think, it all, Juice Plus is the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. There's over 45 studies now published in different scientific and medical peer-reviewed journals that show what happens in the body.
Mm,
So, I can share a few things that have happened to people, but it's all backed by the science, right?
sure.
Um, and so, what the science does show is it helps put our immune system back into balance, you know, so it functions optimally, which over the last few years has been key.
Yeah.
Cardiovascular function helps keep that blood pumping. DNA repair. You get damaged DNA and it starts to replicate. That is not good. That becomes bad stuff in the body. So gum health, gut health, brain health, um, exercise, exercise recovery, inflammation in the body, which
Mm,
is really the root of all illness and disease, is inflammation, is where everything starts. Any of those itises, anything that ends with itis is inflammation. So it can help um, fight that inflammation in the body. Um, and then there's a whole bunch of other things, but a lot of the common things people see are they become more regular, if that's an issue.
sure.
Um, Skin,
Mm,
the dark circles under the eyes start to, be alleviated. And basically what it is, it's a catalyst for change. We start putting good things in our body, we start to crave more good things, and then, maybe we start to exercise a little bit more, or we start to drink more water, we're sleeping better. All those things together combined with that nutrient density helps our body function at a more optimal level. So it's the catalyst. It's you know, as our founder likes to say, it helps get that health snowball rolling in the right direction. And
mm.
so it really is a catalyst for change for all those other things to start kicking in. But the science does show that it does a lot of those things in the body.
Well, and that's it, folks. Like that, it brings it all together. Where we have the science and the data to suggest we need to eat fruits and vegetables and berries, right? Antioxidant type things, and I can tell you again. I look into our life and berries. Even if we eat berries, it's the same sort of berries over and over, right? The blueberries, the raspberries, we call them brain berries. I think they're called blackberries technically, but and then you look at the Juice Plus model is the berry blend, which is full of antioxidants. The actual one of the most important things we need in the human body, especially as we age, And so again, it's magical. So thank you for sharing this. Look, like Juice Plus is in my life as a result of you. So thank you. How did it even come into your life? Where did it start for you?
So a little over 30 years ago, I was looking for something. I was obviously 30 years younger, and um, my energy. I mean, my two best friends were the snooze button on my clock radio and coffee. Um, I'd sleep through the night, but I'd wake up and I just didn't have that get up and go, I guess. And so a friend of mine shared it with me. I found it and it made sense. My diet back then, I thought I was healthy. And if I got any fruits or vegetables, it was a tomato slice on my burger from the drive-through. Like I was a single guy. I wasn't cooking and all this stuff. It just wasn't happening. So I started to use the capsules and get those powders pumping through my blood, and I was consistent day after day after day. And over time, I just started to notice that I was waking up a little more energized, and I was getting up before the alarm clock, and then I didn't need that caffeine boost in the morning. I woke up ready to go, and those were the big things that I noticed back then because I was just feeling a little sluggish. And I was playing a lot of sports. I was active. On the outside, I looked probably normal, but on the inside, something wasn't, you know, clicking. And that's kind of how it started for me. I was actively looking. I remember calling a buddy of mine who was with, some vitamin company or whatever, and I didn't know much about nutrition. I called him, and actually, he never called me back. And anyways, that's kind of it. Just kind of fell into my lap a little over 30 years ago.
Well, thank you. And see, there were two things showed up for me. One is there's the one simple change, folks. We're talking about one simple change. John, you made one simple change in your life, and it stuck with you for 30 years, and it'll stick with you, till the end of life, right?
100%.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
something sparked my attention. I want to pivot back to, you were highly active. You knew what you knew about nutrition. You knew what you knew about physically looking after yourself. And interesting, you said one thing you did was you picked up the phone and you called a buddy looking for a multivitamin, right? And that didn't shake out the way it shook out for whatever reason. So now there's an interesting topic when somebody says to you, okay, John and Jonathan, I take my multivitamin. I'm good. How do we respond to that, John? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
well, I wouldn't call them out and say, do you still own a black and white TV? But um, basically, in my mind, vitamins are like black and white TV.
Okay.
And plant powders are like high def, holographic. We still don't even understand. I mentioned earlier the scope of what is in plants, right? But what we do know, you know, I there's less than 100 vitamins that they've discovered, right?
Ah,
Inside an apple, they've discovered over 10,000 different phytonutrients. Okay, that's in the apple. Well, there's 30 different plants in there. Will there be some overlap? For sure, but how many are there? And how many more as science evolves, as technology evolves, how many more things are they going to find within just that apple, right? And so I remember speaking with the naturopathic doctor who created this whole concept, and I said, "What's the best thing about Juice Plus?" And he said, "The best thing is what we don't know." I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, when I created this concept, um, lycopene, which is the red pigment in tomatoes or watermelon or red peppers, was already in Juice Plus, but when it was discovered, they started adding it to multivitamins.
hmm.
Well, it was already there. We just didn't know because no one had discovered it yet. Well, how many others are there and how many more will they find 10, 20, 50, again, 100 years from now as technology evolves? Well, we're just dealing with Mother Nature. She's already figured it out,
Yeah.
right? We're not trying to replicate and recreate. We're just concentrating what's already there. That's the power behind it.
And that's magical, right? It's complementing. It's in addition to, and clearly I take a multivitamin as well. And here's the thing I'll share. I love what you say because the multivitamin is so interesting, right? Here's a off the shelf multivitamin. Everybody should take this. Well, I don't know if it works for me, if it's even doing me any good, right? How do I now know that today, through blood work, you can actually sort of identify where you are on the sliding scale. And if I pivot back to what you're talking about, it's Mother Nature's done the work for us. We can look. My grandmothers were both passed, right? And one thing that I can vividly remember, right, coming from a European family, was in addition to the pastas and the meat, eat your vegetables. And it was never like it was never the same. We were fortunate. It wasn't always the same vegetables. There was a variety of vegetables, right? But this is sort of instilled from parent to parent to parent, and it's going to go on. What's the biggest challenge you have from many parents out there? My kids don't eat fruits and vegetables. We live it. We have one child that eats fruits and vegetables, one that doesn't. Right? This bridges that gap. This gives us peace of mind to say, in addition to the multivitamin that that I'm taking, it our children are already taking now, I have confidence to say they're also getting the micronutrients. Like, there's what you're talking about. The stuff that's actually in that apple, the stuff that's actually in that piece of kale, the stuff that's actually in that blueberry. Right? We're not extrapolating a vitamin and putting it into a capsule. We're taking the whole fruit for all it's good, and then our bodies are naturally deciphering, Jonathan's body needs this, so I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna dispose of the rest.
Yes. And the other way to explain it would be it's um, a little of a lot versus a lot of a little.
Mm.
So we've got a little bit of a lot of different micronutrients, like you said, versus a lot of a few different things. And it's like an orchestra. The orchestra, the music sounds great because all those different instruments are playing in harmony. If one of the instruments is too loud, it's not going to sound as good. So we're taking all those little bits and letting them do their job. And again, that's the power of food, the power of Mother Nature. I remember there used to be a TV commercial up in Canada years ago. Don't try and outfool Mother Nature or something like that. And that's the key. It's just Mother Nature.
Yeah. And again, if we learn anything now, technology is advancing. Our foods are vastly changing from what they once were, right? And that sort of makes you think. But you started early on in the conversation. You brought up a very important point of that. I didn't even think of until you actually brought it up. The way you described it, as that banana grows, it's coming to it's getting full nutrition, and it's not like that. We buy bananas green so that they last a week. So by the end of the week, you still have a yellow banana,
That's right.
right? You know,
Well, and then the produce that we have today, I saw a statistic, and it was a study they had done. I think it was on broccoli. I think it was a green vegetable, a green leafy
sure,
vegetable. The stuff 50 years ago that our grandparents were
sure.
eating every day was different than the stuff we're getting now because the soil's depleted, right?
Mm,
And the farms that they used to grow in their backyard and they took care of, now it's mega farms somewhere, and they're concerned about pumping out crops and getting paid. Where you know mom and pop gardens were concerned about nutrients and feeding the family, right?
yeah.
So, anyways, it's interesting.
Look, I believe in it. That's why we're having this conversation. It served me well. It serves our family well. I'll tell you, one thing that I learned many years ago, and I think you even shared it with me, and I didn't even tell you, but I'm telling you now that, those days where I feel sort of less than optimal, I'll double up Juice Plus, right? And, I'll tell you, like, for me, it's magical. Even when there's an illness that runs through the family, it's like, okay, everybody, double up, right? And I tell you, when we go away on vacation, the one thing that has been consistent with us is Juice Plus. Because especially when I go away on vacation, it's vacation. So you know what happens when we're on vacation? More French fries, more hamburgers, more, yeah, food, more consumption, less variety. You're on vacation. So we've bridged that gap as a family holistically to say, if we're bringing one thing with us, it's the Juice Plus. So look, we've touched on how magical it is, and thank you for bringing it to that world. Let's pivot for a moment in time. Let's talk about Juice Plus as an organization. Let's add on to we started talking early on about how Juice Plus actually cares about people and the Healthy Stars program and the investment it makes in children. And it's much more than sort of bridging that nutritional gap. It's much more. Tell us about Juice Plus as an organization.
Like from the corporate
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. Yes.
Well, they're big in giving back. So our kind of our mission statement is inspiring healthy living around the world, but we're also inspiring healthy giving around the world. Um, you may or may not have heard of St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is in Memphis, Tennessee, where our corporate headquarters are. Um, we are all our staff in the corporate office volunteers at St.
Mm.
Jude's Hospital during work hours. They get paid to go there. And then the other thing, St. Jude's has the Memphis Marathon. All the money goes to the hospital. And for those of you that don't know, St. Jude's is a children's hospital in Memphis, and nobody gets a bill. Okay.
Mm.
Every family that goes there is taken care of, and they get no bill. It's all run on donations and volunteers. Um, so this one day fundraising is the biggest one day fundraising event for the hospital, and we're the corporate sponsor of the St. Jude's Memphis Marathon. And I forget how many millions of dollars has been raised over the 20 plus years that we've been that lead sponsor, but it's just a big thing. We're big on giving back. And in Canada, every country we're involved in, we are big in giving back to the community. We have another product that we won't get into, but it's called the Tower Garden. It's a vertical aeroponic growing system. Every Boys and Girls Club in the US and Canada has one of those. They were donated for free
Oh
to
my
teach the
gosh.
kids how to grow. You ask a child in the inner city of a big city, where does, an apple come from? The grocery store. Where else would it come from? Right? Well, not really. And so, you can't grow apples on the Tower Garden, but leafy vegetables and things like that. So they get, to learn and eat some healthy, nutrient-dense food that a child plants a seed, they want to eat what they planted, right? So we're kind of not tricking them, but we're getting them to grow healthy food and eat it. So, but we're big on giving back, big on helping others. And, I've been to the office in Memphis many times. It's just four walls. It's the people inside. They care. They want to make a difference. And our community of partners like you and I, some of the best people I've ever met. So inspirational. So many people in the health community that want to give back and make a difference. And to me, it's just, the community that we have is second to none. Thousands of people around the world. We're in 25 or 26 countries now, and all those people help each other. We mentor and train, and it's just, to me, the community is what it's all about.
Thank you. Thank you. And for our audience out there, like that's the biggest thing. We're talking about making a difference in the world. We're talking about actually leading with a people-centric approach, and there it is, folks. Like there's an organization, John. The last few minutes you dissected everything. It really sort of pulled on the heartstrings to say we're educating children, we're teaching children, we actually believe in making the world a better place. And not once is it about how great the organization is and how many profits we've generated. It's never about that, guys, because when it starts with something greater, everything else organically flows out. This is why our relationship is maintained the way it's been for nearly 2 decades, because there's more to it than the business side of things. It actually makes a difference to a human being and to others around, right? And then yes, so now I want to pivot into, this is the piece that if there's people out there, you referred to the partner program, and the partner is, so John, talk to us a little bit about the organizational structure, because yes, folks, as great as Juice Plus is, it is a business and and John, I mean, you left a career path and pivoted into Juice Plus. This is really interesting, and for those who didn't quite sort of catch the introduction, it's going from a financially driven world in the financial planning industry to Juice Plus. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So for me, um, I was working in Toronto. I was there for 25 years, grew up in Kitchener, just down the highway. And so I was a financial advisor working downtown and, helping people with their finances. But, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And to me, Steve Jobs was the biggest example. There was a guy that had a lot of
Yeah.
money, but he could write the biggest check, but it was too late to make a difference, right? And so for me, I wanted to make an impact, but I wanted also to have freedom and flexibility in my life to be able to go out and do the things that I wanted to do and work with the people I wanted to work with. So um, I had been a customer for 10 years. And
Mm.
then I started to look at this more of a, I think that the side hustle is probably
Sure.
the catchphrase these days. And so I was doing it on the side, and it evolved into becoming a career for me by going out and sharing and building and inspiring others to do the same thing. And so, you know, we are looking for people that want to make a difference, people that want to help people, people that want to help others, people with that servant's heart. I guess is probably the best way to put it. Some people just want to offset the cost of their family's product. Some people want to make $300 to $500 a month. Um, Maybe it's a car payment, maybe it's to save for a vacation, whatever. And then there's other people that look at it more as a career. And um, so we're just looking to help people and inspire them. And I think for me that it's almost like there's a lot of personal growth in this business too, which to me is what fills my cup. Somebody saw something in me before I saw it in myself. And now it's my turn to pay it forward and let other people know that, you know what, you can be more, you can do more, and I see it in you, and we're willing to help you and work with you and guide you down the path. Um, as opposed to the corporate world where, you're climbing that corporate ladder and the person above you is trying to step on your fingers because if you get
Mm.
up where they are, they better be moving up or they're moving out. In our world, we're reaching down and helping them. We're not dragging them up. We're not doing it for them, but that people that show they want to become more and become better and build something, we're here. It's that mentorship thing that um, to me is invaluable.
So I want to unpack that a little bit, right? Because that really piques my interest. We do very similar things in different capacities within different industries. And, when we talk about coaching and leading others and helping others succeed so that we may flourish, I mean, you talk about filling your cup. Beautiful, right? Tell us more about that journey as far as, the coaching piece of what you do daily.
Yeah, so well, it depends on the individual again, right? Some people are part-time, and then there's other people that maybe more part-time, and then there's some people that do this. I would never say full-time because there's always time to do other things, but
Sure.
uh, somebody showed me the way, right?
Mm.
There's a system in place. I followed that system, and they were there to guide me and walk me down the path. And so now I'm able to do the same for others. And now, so what happened for me is, when we get to the top position with the company, there's a full benefits package there, and
Hmm.
I had attained that, and then I now live in North Carolina. What happened in between is I met a distributor from North Carolina that was is now my wife.
Mm.
And so now we work the business together, which is way more powerful. It's like 1 + 1 = 3. And I bring, the guy side of things, and she brings the woman side of things, which, as you know, we're wired differently.
Yeah.
And women are even more nurturing, right? That's the mom thing. Um, so we're we're fortunate now that we can combine those two together and go out and empower and help other people. And 90% of the people in our that are partners with the company are women. And for the reason I just said, they're more nurturing than guys are, right? Guys are invincible. Well, I'm, that
Hmm.
macho thing that it's never going to
Hmm.
happen to me. Where women are just, they get it a little quicker. But so yeah, and someone described it to me a long time ago. It's almost like this is a personal growth business disguised as a business moving a product, because the
Yeah.
growth we experience in this business is second to none. And it's the same with your coaching, right? It's um, we learn and then we teach, and that's where that's the most fulfilling thing to me is watching somebody's eyes light up and go, "Wow, I did something that I didn't believe I could ever do." You know, um, the other night, I do weekly calls with some of my people. Most of them are back in Canada. We'll just catch up, what's going on, brainstorm, a little masterminding. And one of my guys up there, he said, "Hey, you know what? I've had enough of watching other people succeed while I've been kind of dipping my toes. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this." And he's going out and doing some things, and him and his wife do the business together as well. So that to me is so cool, because when I met this individual and his wife, they were very timid, and they wanted to do something, but the belief in themselves in their self wasn't there yet, right? Right. So now there's belief, and there's nothing more powerful than personal belief, right? If we inspire our kids to believe in themselves, they're unstoppable. If they don't believe in themselves, it's it's tragic, because it's hard for them to get anywhere without that. Every human, when that switch kind of flips and they start to believe that they can do more, wow, that is cool.
Thank you. Like this is it. This is you're talking about amplifying the output of others, right? Yes, we're selling a product. Sure, it's not about the product. It's about the experience. It's the lifestyle you're creating, right? And this is again, it's never cockiness shoved down your throat, right? I love that ideology where there's the male. I'm going to bring male into this purposefully. The male salesmanship. You gotta, you must, you should, buy this, use this because it's going to change your world. It's not about that. It doesn't ever start with that. It's like, look, this product is fantastic, and it serves this many people well, and there's a business model behind it. So if you really want to amplify yourself and create something different financially for yourself, you can do this, because as you sell the product, there are financial rewards that come back as a result of that. It's not about that. Look at the story you just shared. Like that's really being there for others. Like look at the opportunities you get to create. You're no longer in this sort of rigid structure. It's, hey man, what do you want for this gentleman approached you and said, "I'm ready for more." Like that is, as a coach, that's one of the most exciting things you can say. Like, yes, I've seen this for a long time. Welcome to your life, man.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like that's magical.
yes, it is.
That's magical.
It is. It is. And it's going to change their life forever, regardless of what they do.
Yeah. Yes, right? There it is. That's it too, right? Whether it's within the Juice Plus realm or not, their life path was now just altered altogether. How
Yeah.
cool is that, right? How many career paths do we say that we actually have that opportunity to tinker? And it's like what you choose. Some people choose. Look, I'll speak for myself. For me, Juice Plus is something I do believe in. So am I partnered with it? Yes. And it's not. I'm at where I'm at with it right now. Just like there's other people who have pivoted and said, "Well, look, I want more."
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you for that. Anything else about the organization holistically that you feel we haven't touched on yet that's worth sharing?
Um, I don't know. I think, we've kind of summed it up a little bit. Um, I think one of the questions I get asked a lot, and it's more product than organization, but um, is what am I going to notice? Tell
Yeah.
me what it's going to do for me, right? They don't, it's great to hear these stories, but what's in it for me?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the old adage, right? And I like to compare it to, so I'm sure everyone on here listening has a dentist. And if you don't, you might want to go find one, right?
Right.
And um, and they tell you to floss your teeth. And you floss your teeth every single day, hopefully, right? Helps
Hmm.
prevent gum disease and all the other things. And let's say you've been flossing your teeth for a month or a year, 10 years. Have you noticed any difference? Juice Plus is similar to that. You know, we take it every day, every day, every day. Yes, we're going to notice some things, but every one of us is going to be a little bit different. One of my guys in Toronto, personal trainer, he was taking the product for a year, and he goes, "I haven't noticed anything." And I said, "Well," and then we got talking, and then he said, "You know what? Actually, I haven't had an anxiety attack in a year." He goes, "I never thought about that. It just kind of, it went away, you know." So it's not always the things that we feel, it's sometimes the things that kind of just dissipate or become less and less. And eventually, they're not there. So I think that's we make a difference and it's based on science and all that, but you may or may not, you're not going to go out and leap tall buildings, but you may notice these other things that we talked about. But the coolest thing about it is the science shows all these good things are happening in your body. And that, we can't argue with.
Yeah. Well, and that's a holistic approach. It goes back to, I love what you said about, Mother Nature in her you know wholeness, right? Yeah. So, is this the magic pill that's going to make you grow 6 feet taller in one night? No, man. No. Is this going to make you a better human being overall? The answer is hell yeah, without even
Yeah.
thinking about it. And it's going to be in conscious or subconscious ways that we may not even realize. There's a perfect example with a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
Like this one thing, this small little habit, ritual, routine that we do over and over, actually amplifies the game. No
Yeah.
difference than like, oh, I love that because like, oh, I squatted 400 pounds today. Well, it wasn't day one in the gym. It took you 365 days of, adding weight because you did the same thing over and over. Juice Plus is the same thing. It's doing it from the inside out, which is having you show up to life better, having you show up to life the way you choose to.
Yes.
Thank you. A couple of fun things, like actually, before we get to a couple of fun things, last thought on this Juice Plus. Is there something that we haven't already touched on that is worth debunking? Something about Juice Plus that you think is worth debunking and the world needs to hear it for all the sort of naysayers out there?
Well, I think we kind of touched on, isn't it just like vitamins? So we touched on that. Um, the the odd time you'll hear people say, in regards to our research, right? Our research body of research is second to none. But guess who funds the research? Well, we fund the research. And
Mm.
people go, well, you guys pay for the research. Well, are you going to pay for it? Who else is going to pay for our research, right? Like, I mean, do you think Tylenol is going to pay for our research or like no one else is going to pay for the research. We have to pay for it. But how it works is so we deal with these corporations or these institutions rather, and that's how they get funding is from companies. They pay companies pay them to do research. But once the contract's signed, they're out of the loop, right? Um, MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, did a study for us. Um, you know, Major schools around the world have done these studies. They're not putting their reputation on the line to make us look good. No, because if it's a lie, it's going to make them look bad. So
Mm.
we fund the research. We come up, not me, somebody way smarter than me comes up with kind of what they're looking to do. Them in the school, they figure it out, and then it's in the school's hands. They complete the study, the double-blind, placebo-controlled, gold standard study, and the results are the results. Good or bad, they can be published, right? It's beyond us after that. So yes, we fund the research, but again, who else is going to do it? But there is a barrier in there between us and the outcome, which
Beautiful.
I think is the key thing for people to understand because again, no one else is going to be funding or setting
Yeah.
up,
Well, and there it is. Like,
right?
challenge your assumptions to find the truth, folks. Right? Because some people will say, "Yeah, but Juice Plus, or we're using Juice Plus as an example. Organizer X funds the research." Well, no kidding, right? But dig a layer deeper. Like, what happens after that? The point is, guys and girls out there, and Martians and dogs and cats and everybody else listening. Look, it's real. Like, Juice Plus makes a big difference. That's why we're talking. I'm talking to our audience about things that I truly believe in. That's why we're here. You're here because you have decades of doing this, man. Like, we're talking about a great product that changes people's lives, not only from the product, but from the lifestyle that they can create and everything else. So thanks for making the time to be here. Before we get into our audience about how they can get their hands on Juice Plus and to connect, uh, you know, one last question because I think it's super magical, especially some of the way that we've pivoted through this conversation. And the thought is directly for you, John. Is if you could teach the world one thing, what's one thing you want to teach people?
Um, Take care of your health. We get one body to live in, and when we're young, it's funny, when we're young, we're invincible, especially guys, right? Nothing's going to
Yeah,
happen to us. And then you become a parent, you get married, you become a parent, and then it's not just about you anymore, you know. Um, but someday somebody gets that call, and it might be too late. Don't put yourself in that position. It's easy to do that, but it's easy not to as well. One of my old mentors, Jim Rohn, always said that it's easy to do. It's easier not to. And here's a simple solution to help get you in that right direction. But take care of your body. You don't have to live a boring life, um, but do a few things to make sure you're heading in the right direction. And the older we get, the more, I wish I knew now what I knew, you know,
sure.
way back, because there's things I would have done differently, but you can't dwell on that. So, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? 100 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. And I think that's the same thing with our health, right? It would have been great, but regardless, we can start anew today. And I think that's the one thing we all need to kind of look in the mirror at.
Thanks, John. Thank you. Take care of your health, folks. Right, and if Juice Plus helps serve you and guide you in the right direction as it has for so many people out there, then do your own research, dig into it, and we're gonna have all this information posted in the show notes on how to get in touch with either John or myself. The best way to get your hands on the product. You can email us, you can call us, go right to the Juice Plus website. John, anything else I'm missing as far as how people can get their hands on the product?
No, and I think the cool thing is, when someone becomes a customer, we build a relationship with them. It's
Yeah,
not like one and done, right? It's not you go into the store and buy something. They don't call you in a few weeks and say, "Hey, how's it going?" We do that. We want to make sure you're, getting good results. And if you're having some sort of a whatever, people detox when they start to pump good nutrition in their body. So that detoxification can result in some not so pleasant things. And it's okay, stick to it. So we're here to help and kind of, lock arms with you and go down that path. So, um, click on the link or whatever in the notes and reach out to us and we can, give you a little bit of coaching and guidance with that because it's worth it.
thanks, John. John, thank you for your time. Listen, Juice Plus, folks, it's been magical. So, thanks for making time to be here, John. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me and thanks to everyone that's out there listening.